time to get radical.
What's up, everyone? This is UFO Buster Radio, and this is Manny Moonraker, and you are now tuning in to episode 8080. And this week, I put out a question on social media last week, asking folks, what would you like to hear in the midweek episode of UFO Buster Radio? So, let me just first say that this is Thursday. It is my midweek. That's how I roll. Your midweek might be Wednesday. You might refer to it as Hump Day. However, this is Moonraker Day, and it's a Thursday. So, the winner of the What Shall We Talk About question for this week is the Flat Earth Theory. Now, many of you might be hearing whispers about the Flat Earth Theory, that many famous people out there believe that the earth is flat. So, before we get into this whole discussion, number one, you're probably saying to yourself, this is UFO Buster Radio, why are we not talking about UFOs? Because I sent you guys a question and you gave me an answer, so that's what we're going to cover. Number one. Number two, why is the flat earth situation coming up? In March, someone fairly unknown to most of you, by the name of Shaquille O'Neal, decided to make a statement regarding the earth being flat on a podcast. Now, to this day, I cannot find the name of that podcast. All I've been seeing is that apparently he either owns the network the podcast was on, or he's somehow affiliated to the podcast, because it almost sounds like he's been on that show, in the past. However, he made a statement about that, but rather than me telling you what Shaq said, why don't we just listen to what the man said himself? Let me roll the clip for you. This is Shaquille O'Neal saying that from his perspective, the world really is flat.
What did you make of the Kyrie stuff?
I don't. It's true.
What?
The Earth is flat.
Shaq, what are you talking about?
The Earth is flat.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No,
listen.
It's not.
There's three ways to manipulate the mind: what you read, what you see, and what you hear.
Okay.
Conspiracies.
In school, first thing they teach us is, Columbus discovered America. But when he got there, it was some fair-skinned people with the long hair smoking out of peace pipes. So what does that tell you? Mm-hmm. Columbus didn't discover America.
He found where some other people already lived.
I drive from coast to coast, and this shit's flat to me. I'm just saying.
Okay, that's the dumbest thing you've ever said.
I drive from
It's
Florida.
the dumbest thing you've ever said.
I drive from Florida to California all the time, and it's flat to me.
92 podcasts, and that's the dumbest thing you've ever said. That's a high bar to get over.
I do not go up and down in a 360-degree angle and all that stuff about gravity. Have you looked outside of Atlanta lately and seen all these buildings? So you mean to tell me that China is under us? China's under us.
If you keep
they are under us.
That's what they tell you when you're a kid?
The world is flat.
If you dug straight through your backyard, you could get to China.
No, you can't. The world
is not flat.
Yes, it is.
We've seen the Earth.
No, we haven't seen anything.
Yes, you have. You've seen it from satellite imagery.
Oh, satellite imagery that could be drawn and made up.
All right, so there you go. You heard it from the man himself. He thinks it's flat because he goes from point A to point B, and it pretty much looks like flat to him. So, in doing some research behind the flat Earth theory, thanks Shaq, there's a couple of things that I came across. Specifically, I came across a website called the Flat Earth Society. And the Flat Earth Society has a theory, and they will, and they have put it out there on this website for you to look at. Some of the things that I saw on there was what they see as evidence that the world is flat. And then we'll talk about some reasons why this evidence is not so cut and dry. So the first thing I saw was that they show as evidence that the Earth is flat because the horizon always rises to meet the eye level. Which, if the Earth was a ball, that wouldn't happen, according to them. The surface of bodies of water have been shown to be a level across the globe. Oh, I'm sorry, across the flat Earth. This may be explained for the people that believe that we live on a bouncing ball, that gravity might have something to do with this, but we'll get to the gravity part because they have an explanation for this too. The other thing is, there is no visible curvature to the horizon even from airplanes. This one I had to do some research on because in some videos, if you go on YouTube, in some videos you do see curvature, and in others you don't. Turns out the lens has a lot to do with that. We'll cover that in a moment. The other thing is that according to them, we do not have a full shot of the Earth rotating from space. The reason why they bring this one out is because, according to most people that believe that the Earth is flat, it's because they believe that NASA is at the center of the conspiracy to keep you, me, and everyone else from realizing that the Earth is not round. It's not a globe. Now, from what I remember in science, in school, science really doesn't say that the Earth is a perfect sphere. But that's a different show altogether. So the first thing I want to kind of look at is the fact that this website actually says that we don't have a full shot of the Earth rotating from space. The problem with this is that, number one, the things that are in space, satellites, the ISS, they're not far enough to actually see the entire planet from where they are, so that you can see the whole thing in one shot rotating. However, if you go on any YouTube or video place or even NASA, you can go to space.com, you'll see the videos. Yeah, all you see is a partial bit of the Earth, but you see the rotation. You also see the horizon. But according to the flat Earth theory, these are all fake. The other thing too is that flat earthers also believe, besides the fact that NASA is faking all of this, they're also saying that GPS is a tampered technology. In other words, the government has tampered with GPS to make you think you travel in straight lines, which is important because they also say that pilots, when they fly their airplanes, they do not fly in straight lines. There is a bit of a curve to their path because they're flying over a disc and not a globe. So the model of the flat Earth basically is a disc, and the North Pole is in the center of this disc. So if you look at a disc, let's say like a plate, you're looking at a plate. At the top of the plate, you have your water and you have your continents, but at the center of that plate is the North Pole. On the edges, all around the edge of this map that we're looking at, that is basically a disc, is Antarctica. So according to them, Antarctica actually stretches all around the rim of the disc, if you can picture that, and everything else is in the middle. Now the reason why this model says that Antarctica goes all around the rim of the disc is because there's a conspiracy among those flat earthers that Antarctica consists of a 150-foot wall of ice that keeps people from falling off the Earth. More importantly, NASA, I'm going to pause for a second because this is one of the best conspiracies about NASA I've read in a long time. NASA actually guards that wall to make sure that people do not find it and do not fall off the disc. I just want you to absorb that. Just absorb that for me. And if you believe on the flat disc, flat earth theory, please call me. My number is 972-290-1329. 24/7. I want to hear from you. So the other thing that I mentioned earlier is that the flat earth theory has a specific explanation regarding gravity. So, one, if you think that the earth is roundish, because we know it's not completely perfectly round, but if you believe that the earth is round, then you know that there is a center point of gravity that kind of keeps the water kind of looking evenish when you look at it from space or when you're looking at it from a distance or whatever, often the horizon, which doesn't exist if you believe in a flat earth. So, according to them, gravity itself is an illusion. So the way that gravity is explained in the flat earth theory is that since the earth is a disk, the earth actually accelerates upward, giving things the appearance that they're falling. And this happens at a rate of 32 feet per second. And this is all powered by the mysterious energy known as dark energy. The same dark energy that we have all kind of scientists trying to figure out what it is, where it's at, and how to get to it. It turns out dark energy is here on the disk that's called Earth, and it gives us an illusion of gravity. So MIT, NASA, you're fired. We've got the explanation here. The one thing about this theory, and I just want to say that prior to NASA, the US government, and the governments of the world, there was a guy named Copernicus. Copernicus was in 2 different countries at one time in Europe, and he noticed that things were not the same when it came to the stars. He noticed that the shadow across the moon was different. It was off by like 12 degrees. Things that could not be explained by the Earth being flat. Copernicus, I don't think that at that day and age had GPS or a great government conspiracy. Well, even though the government or the people in charge back then believed everything was flat. So I guess even for Copernicus, there was a big conspiracy. A lot of it was driven by the Catholics and the religion and the king and you know what I mean. Basically, no matter where you are in time, there's a conspiracy. So while we have technology as a conspiracy, Copernicus had religious problems. Either way, what I want to say is this. If you really believe that the earth is flat, I think that anyone that is a flat earth enthusiast, I welcome them to repeat all of the study and all of the things that Copernicus did using his methods and his type of tools in order to come to a conclusion. You don't have to believe the GPS. Garmin may be lying to you. You don't have to believe the pilots. Maybe the pilots are all whacked out. They're all on crack. Maybe before they get on the plane, they get injected by some secret government agency that makes them perceive that they're flying in straight lines. Maybe that's part of the conspiracy. Maybe that's what's really happening. But the best way, I think, for you to really test your theory of flat Earth is to go back to Copernicus. Redo what he did. Follow what he did. And then, from that point, figure out, was Copernicus on crack? I mean, it's possible. Maybe Copernicus really was the one who founded crystal meth. And while on crystal meth, he decided that things were better if they were round and not flat. So besides all of that, on this flat Earth theory, there's some other things that I had to look up from a scientific perspective as far as what we see. So it turns out that you can see the curvature of the horizon and the planet from an airplane if you are cruising at about 35,000 feet. Now, the problem is, in order for you to really see the curvature of the planet at 35,000 feet, you have to be able to have a field of view of 60 millimeters, which you put that into a feet, it's about 3,150 feet. So here's the problem. So you're sitting in a window from an airplane, this little itty bitty little portal, basically they give you to look out of. And on top of that, we also got to consider that the human eye does not have a field of view of 60 millimeters. In fact, the human eye has a field of view of about 43, 42. In some cases, some crazy mutants out there might even have 45, which is far below what you need in order to really see curvature of the horizon from an airplane. Which also explains when you see video from NASA of cameras on rockets when they take off, you notice that there is, all of a sudden, you see a curvature to the planet, and it's because of the lens. Because the field of view is much greater than what you and I have. So you're able to see more. And keep in mind, everything is relative. We don't measure the planet in feet, which is what our eyesight is measured on. And to take that a step further about things being relative, you don't measure a sandwich the size of a slice of bread in feet. You don't say, my sandwich is about 0.3 feet in length. No, you measure that in inches. Your eyesight is measured in feet, not in miles. And that's because you don't see in miles. Your focal point is in feet. And to really give you a perspective of the circumference of the planet in feet, since, perfect vision is like 20/20, blah, blah, blah. The circumference of the planet in feet is 41,850,000 feet. Now, think about how much of that you see relative to that circumference, and how is it that any one person, just by looking as far as they can see, can determine that the horizon and the world is really flat. In fact, I would say that the definition of the horizon is basically the farthest point the eye can see before the earth curves out beneath your view. So that is the apex of the horizon, and everything else is under that. If it was flat, you could probably get yourself a high-powered telescope and continue to see past that point, because the earth is flat, so there would be no reason for you not to be able to see past that horizon with something a bit more powerful than your eyeballs. But that's not the case. So for flat earthers, the question is, why is it we only see so far and we can't see past the horizon if the Earth is flat. The other thing is the most accepted model of the flat Earth is a disc shape, like I described earlier. North Pole in the middle, continents around it. Antarctica is the wall that Trump envies. Right? Bigly. And so, if you take that model and you look at some of the maps on the internet, what we have is we have a disc shape on the top. That's where we're hanging out, on the top of the disc. But at the bottom, the theory is that the bottom is rocky and it kind of looks like an upside down mountain. So my question for any flat earthers out there that are listening is this: if that is your model of the planet, of the disk called Earth, why is it that every other celestial body, planet-sized thing out there in our solar system, why is everything else spherical? That's the one thing I couldn't find. What's the explanation for that? And mind you that some flat earth believers also believe that we are the center of the universe, and that's why our planet is so different than everything else. So anyway, there you go. If you believe in the flat earth, like I said, give me a call, 972-290-1329. I would like to have you on the show, and really, if you can go through what evidence you have besides what this website has, we would love to hear it. Now, we started this with Mr. Shaquille O'Neal, and let's end it with Shaquille O'Neal because he also made an appearance afterwards, after his initial podcast debacle. He made an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel's show, and of course, we all know Jimmy Kimmel. So Jimmy Kimmel decided to just come right out and ask him. And and let's go to the videotape, the audio tape. Here we go.
I don't know why. I have this urge, like, I would one day like to wrestle you. Like, for real. Like, you and I, we'll just get in and wrestle.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Next time I come,
okay,
you have a tub of Jell-O there, and we'll Jell-O wrestle.
Oh, we'll Jell-O wrestle.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right there. Me and you.
I would love that. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
That was a joke about the world being flat, right?
Was it? Of course it was.
When I heard you say that, people were getting all excited.
Yeah,
It's like, there's no way that he wasn't joking in this situation.
They got upset. And my theory is, I bought a bus a couple of summers ago.
Uh-huh.
So when I drive from Florida to California, it seems flat to me.
I see. Okay.
So you ever been in a flight and you get ready to land and you pull up the window and you look?
Yeah.
It seems flat, right?
Well,
so that was my theory. I'm just joking. Relax.
They almost took your PhD in education away.
Yeah, they did.
Are there other crazy things that you potentially might want to start? Like, do you want to say you believe in Bigfoot, or
I do.
You do believe in Bigfoot? Yeah.
I really do.
Are you a Bigfoot?
No, it's funny. One time in Seattle in a snowstorm, somebody took a picture of me and showed it to me, and I really looked like Bigfoot. Oh, that's me. Yeah, I really did.
Yeah, Shack Squatch is one nickname you never got.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's pretty good, actually. Yeah.
All right, so there you go. It sounds to me like Shaq was just goofing off, talking smack, going along with whatever the topic of conversation was. And I don't know, maybe it's me, but he really didn't put a definitive stamp on the idea that no, he doesn't believe the earth is flat. God, but you guys decide. You heard it. That's what it is. Personally, myself, I don't believe I'm on a flat earth. But you know what? The floor is yours. If you believe the earth is flat, give me a call. I want to hear your side of this. Now, this is UFO Buster Radio, so let's get back to the UFOs and a MUFON Report for this week.
Grab onto your probes. It is MUFON Report time.
All right, for you guys that are listening in Great Britain, England, the UK, this one's for you. This one comes out of Exmouth. It is MUFON Report, number 83241. So this was reported and cited on the 17th of April, and it's a doozy. This one here will probably end up on the internet. I'm pretty sure of it. Secure Team 10, I've got one for you. And not because I think that it is a fake or a hoax. I really think this is an actual story. I just think people like Security Team 10 they're going to blow it out the window, and it's going to be, I don't know, the guy gets abducted at the end of this story. That's what I see. So let's get to the report. So the short version of the description is, I was waiting for the bus while taking a friend when I noticed 3 lights in a triangle pattern over the mouth of the river X. Well, he put EXE. You guys in the UK, you know what that is. Everyone else, let's pretend. So he took some video and some pictures with his phone before the bus came and he left. What's great about this report is that the guy is so excited about what he's seeing. And he even says at one point, why don't I have a decent camera? Expletive. And he has 2 videos uploaded of this triangular shaped lights. So what you see is lights. You don't see any actual material in between the lights, but we know that these lights in this particular formation has been and will always be connected with TR3Bs. Along with the 2 videos, he also has 3 pictures, one of which I have no idea what the heck it is, but the other 2, again, these are great images. The video, as much as he thought it was horrible, it's one of the best TR3B quote-unquote sightings on video that I have seen. So this was pretty excellent. People when they report this stuff on MUFON, they don't put their names on it because I don't know if there is a place or not. But whoever you are, great shot. You did a great job. The UK is on top of this. And you guys have got to see this. The links for this report and the long description are in the description for this podcast, as well as each individual link to the 2 videos and the 3 pictures. And yes, I recommend that you watch the video because he is thoroughly excited about what he's seeing. I mean, he is like floored. I mean, I think I'd be the same way. Expletives and everything. So I had to laugh. But the long description is it's actually long, not like the one from last week. It's pretty long. We're not going to read it right now because I want you guys to read it. But there is one point here that was pretty hilarious for me, and I'll read that part. And he says, during the event, I felt elation and joy. Now put an English accent to that, and I can't really do it. Not in me. And the only way he could describe it was the feeling of ecstasy. It's the feeling that he gets when he's on ecstasy. And he says it's been years since he had any ecstasy, but he'll never forget the feeling of pure joy. And that's what he felt when he saw this alleged TR3B. Listen, I don't promote the use of things like ecstasy or anything else that I read on these MUFON reports. But if you are a partaker of the X, then you know exactly what the hell he's talking about, because I sure don't. But anyway, he felt joy. That is our MUFON report for the week. If you have interest in this, check out the links. It's pretty cool what he shot. So I might just send out another question this week on social media. So you guys, you gotta follow me. Follow me on social media. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I mean, what more can you ask for? But I'm gonna probably put out another question out there to see what you guys want to listen to on the midweek episode. And with that said, this has been UFO Buster Radio. My name is Manny Moonraker, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.